I'm good. How are you, Molly?
Awesome. And today we're talking about National Infertility Awareness Week.
We are. We're in the middle of National Infertility Awareness Week right now. Okay.
Awesome. Okay. If you are watching it live or on the replay, please do type in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from, or if you have any questions for Lisa about National Infertility Awareness Week. And if you click all the way through to Sacred Fire Creative, then we'll be able to see those comments and pull them up on the screen. So let's go ahead and how are you doing, Lisa?
Good. I'm good. I'm
Did you
just
find the
come
link?
right. There we go. Okay. I found it.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and you were able to share it, no problem?
I think so. Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
I am. All right. So hopefully people will join us. Yeah, here it is. Okay.
Great.
Um,
Yeah, so whenever you're ready, we can get started and
okay.
let us know a little bit about what this week means and what it means for you.
Yeah. It is, so Resolve is the name of the National Infertility Awareness Network in the United States. And they have named this week in April as the National Infertility Awareness Week. And so this is
And
always,
what is Resolve?
Resolve is the National Infertility Support and Awareness Network. And you can go to resolve.org for more
Okay.
information
Is
about
it
that.
an acronym or does it stand for
It's
something?
not. I
Okay.
think I think it just talks about kind of the strength and resolve that and the resolution that a person going through fertility um, needs and gets to, hopefully, and all of that word encompasses um, all of the many parts of the infertility journey.
Okay, I found it. Okay, so I'm going to put that on the screen for people so they can see what we mean. So it's resolve.org. And so they've deemed this the week for National Infertility Awareness.
Yes, they do, and of course we're celebrating it differently this year. Often we would have events that are live, and now we're having other kinds of events, as with always. And so I just thought we'd get a chance to talk specifically about infertility and infertility during COVID-19 today.
Okay, I feel like we talked about that last time.
We talked about
We
pregnancy.
talked about pregnancy, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about infertility previously,
Mm-hmm.
also during COVID-19. Can you talk about a little bit about Resolve and maybe some of the live events they used to have, and are they not continuing with those live, or is that something that they're planning on doing later?
You know, that's a good question. I'm not exactly sure if they are intending to have other live events as kind of a postponed situation. But what I do know is that they're having many, many other kinds of involvement opportunities. There's a way that people are speaking from the heart and sharing their stories in the community. That's something where you can post, and if you can find this on their resolve.org website. There is a survey that's really helpful that they'd like people to take if you are doing any kind of fertility or family building treatments during this time, or they have been postponed. They're really asking that the survey be taken in order for them to find out the best ways to support people who are in the middle of infertility journey right now. Because in what I wanted to mention is that a lot of times, for almost everyone, their cycles have been canceled, and so what Resolve is also doing is they're an advocacy group, just like our NABO is, the National Association of Women Business Owners, that you and I are involved
And what
with.
did you say was canceled? I didn't catch that.
um, the people's fertility treatment cycles
Oh,
have
okay.
canceled. So someone who was in the middle of doing IVF or even inseminations or taking medications to try to get pregnant. For almost everyone, those have been canceled because of the concerns about, there's a variety of concerns about doing treatments during this time. And so for most people who were in the middle of doing something in January, February, even March, building up to do an IVF cycle or a frozen embryo transfer, those have all been canceled. So people are in the middle of this limbo time where something that they've built up for sometimes months or years is suddenly not available to them, which is really hard. So
I sort of recall that you are gearing up to treat your patients, though. Are you planning on opening soon?
Yeah, that's because people are needing care because of the eventuality of these fertility treatments resuming, and the people who are even trying on their own, who want to be pregnant sometime this year. We're still very interested in supporting you, because fertility preparation it takes time, and it's a process. So I have been so far doing telemedicine treatments for people, and even new people, and we are talking about the possibility. I'm not going to say anything for sure at this point, but we are starting.
No commitment.
We're starting to talk about the possibility of being able to do some in-person treatments, because my understanding, again, this is all very, the path is unclear, but many of the fertility clinics that I've talked to have said that they hope to resume doing fertility cycles in June, and ideally we would resume doing in-person acupuncture treatments either then or before then to help people get ready. So I am talking with my clinic and my colleagues and my national associations about what can we do to resume some in-person treatments for the people for whom it's the most urgent and essential,
right,
and keep people safe at the same time.
So what's the criteria for you deciding whether you're going to move forward? Is it kind of dependent on the clinic you're in, or?
Well, there's many of them. I'll try to keep it simple. We have a governor's order about being careful with non-essential medical practices and procedures right now, because they're wanting to conserve the protective equipment for the people who really, really need it in the hospitals.
Yeah.
So there's that. And so we've been strongly encouraged to postpone anything that we feel is non-essential. And the clinic that I work with at Synergy Women's Healthcare, they have gynecologists there, and they've opened as of last week for urgent gynecological care. So that's not pap smears. It's more like, people who have an active problem that can't wait. So they've started opening, but they're being very careful. And then we are talking about that no two practitioners would work on the same day. That if I started seeing patients in my clinic for acupuncture, that it would be on a day where nobody else is there. So we're trying to figure out how to keep the right number of people coming through and enough space in between each person's appointment, so that it can kind of air out. We're talking about getting the appropriate amount of the personal protective equipment that we would use. Like, I'm going to be wearing scrubs to work for a while. I'm going to be using gloves and masks as appropriate in terms of, when the governor allows us to do that. And everything's just going to be really, really hygienic and really careful. And it's not going to be one person after the other. It's not going to be a bunch of people in the waiting room. We're just going to keep it incredibly safe and spacious, so that there's not a lot of chance for transmission. But we've got to think about, I've spent a lot of time ordering this equipment, and it's hopefully coming. Yeah. I've had some orders get canceled.
Oh no!
So it's just it's a really interesting time with. We're doing the best we can to point, but we are starting to point in the direction of opening. I don't know if it's going to be in May or if it's going to be in June. Hopefully, sometime in May.
Right.
for the more urgent people.
Yeah. And how do you mitigate the risk of asymptomatic carriers?
I know, right?
I mean, that's like the only concern. I'm thinking, like, what is there to do? Do you have testing? Do you have
Right. So that's a question that really needs to be thought through before we can open, which is why I'm saying that we may need an entire month to kind of spend some more time with these questions.
Right.
But I have gotten a touchless thermometer,
Ooh.
and so that we will be checking everyone's temperature, walking in the door, and it won't involve putting the thermometer in your mouth, thank goodness. And so that's one screening. It's not everything, because not everyone with COVID-19 has a fever, but we are bringing awareness to that. Hopefully that will also allow people to know that they're going to just really check in before they leave. Do they feel anything that would be concerning? Have they been in a situation where they've been exposed to anything?
Right.
I'm thinking, I mean, I have been able to, at least in theory, one of our acupuncture supply houses has some masks that look to be suitable for this, and I'm going to have me and the patients both wearing masks. I'm going to be asking people to make sure they shower and wear clean clothes to the clinic. We're going to have everything really, as hygienic as we can, and then very much disinfect everything in between people, which is, again, why we won't have people right after each other. There's going to be a lot of space. People won't be breathing in the same space as each other. But with the practitioner and the patient, there's still some definite questions. I don't think I'm going to have access to, for example, testing. As an acupuncturist, I can't even order tests, so that's not appropriate for me anyway.
So
There's still some questions.
Going back to Resolve and this
Yeah.
National Infertility Awareness Week. So other organizations, companies, even musicians are getting together online to, do like their One World performance. SNL is on live. So what are they doing live right now, or are they postponing what they would normally have during this week? What's going on with that?
Well, let's see. I think that
maybe you don't know. Okay, I'll look at the website.
think
I know they have this advocacy day coming up in May, so it doesn't look like they're canceling that. So that's something that's happening. They have a lot of resources for COVID-19 and for fertility, which is, available on their website. So, they have a lot of resources.
They have a 5-day photo challenge where they're asking people. I don't think anything's live that I know of, but I think, and especially because it is a 5-day event, there's like the other day they had people post pictures of their fur babies, because not all babies are human, and they asked people to have post pictures of support people in their lives that help them through. And so I think there's a lot of just kind of community building. Resolve has a Facebook page, and you can find more information there. I think it's more about, I think Resolve has always been about education, advocacy, and community. Again, a lot like NAVO. So I think they have local support groups, which I think are still happening.
Oh, okay.
But virtually, they're having some fundraisers that people are doing individually, again, on Zoom or Resolve. Resolve hosted kind of platforms. I think if you especially go onto their Facebook site, which is the Resolve, the National Infertility Association, there's every few hours, there's definitely, again, they have a survey that's very important, because I think what they're hoping to do is get people's feedback. And then I happen to know that they're interested in doing advocacy with the state governors to say fertility is an essential medical service right now. They're trying to ask the governors to allow fertility patients to have their care, while still weighing all of the other medical factors about getting pregnant during COVID-19. I think it's a very
So if you were to have people take some action right now, it's
Mhm.
to go to Resolve and take their survey.
Take their survey.
So that
And
we can work together with other states and make sure that it's known that this is something that they want. They want it to be recognized as an essential service.
I would say that that's one of the things, is to take the survey.
Where is the survey? So I'm on their website. I'm not seeing it, but maybe under Take Action. Nope. Where would they go?
I see the survey under the Facebook page of Resolve.
Okay. So
The
go
national,
to the Resolve Facebook page. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
and it is the other thing. Let me see if I can find the site. The survey is, no, it's a SurveyMonkey survey. So I think you have to maybe get it through the Facebook page.
Okay. I'll put that up on the screen. And then for Portland Acupuncture Studio, what do you want people to do for National Infertility Awareness Week?
That is a great question. So we have a Facebook page too, and we definitely are interested in just hearing how you're doing, if you're comfortable with that, and if that feels easier to do on the Resolve website. I know that the Resolve Facebook page, I know that they're taking lots of stories. And basically, I think one of the most important things about this week is, I know that are many other health concerns right now that we all admit that this is maybe not in the top of mind for people.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the groups that is finding large challenges during this time, in addition to the COVID-19 virus infection itself, are people whose family building efforts have been thwarted by this. And so I think Resolve and National Infertility Awareness Week is basically just letting people know this is happening. Mm-hmm. This is a silent community of people that often don't feel comfortable sharing something so private. And now something that's private and stressful got way more stressful. And so if you know anybody this would be another thing to post on the website. If you know of anybody in your life who's been affected, you don't have to name them, but you can post on our Facebook page what you've done to support them. Because I think that's what we need to have these families, these couples, women supported during a time where it's just extra hard. We're all having some kind of hardship right now, absolutely. But there is this quiet suffering going on around this that we just want to know that they have support.
What are ways that you support women who are struggling with this? Do you have a support group, or is it only through your patients?
Right now I refer people to support groups because I'm not a therapist myself. But I have definitely, I've continued to support people one-on-one, and definitely to come, I think we're going to have more available for maybe not support groups in the therapy sense, but different resources for people to access.
Okay. So, and you'll be posting those on your social media or your website for people to see. What else do you want people to know in terms of, okay, it's National Infertility Awareness Week. There's a lot of other things going on. What do you want people to know in the midst of COVID-19?
Well, I think that this is one of many issues going on. So we still want to have people be safe and taking care of themselves and making good decisions. And sometimes it's hard for people to decide whether to even try to get pregnant right now. So accessing your counselor around that, talking to your doctors, continuing to have appointments with a Chinese medicine practitioner like us, where we can continue to keep your health really strong during all of this. So not only do you not get sick, but you're ready for your treatments or your conception when it's time again. So I would say that even though now that we're over the first month, I think this is a little bit better. But I think we all kind of fell apart that first month, and nobody ate right, and nobody slept right, and nobody had a good schedule. But I think if we can continue to help people stay on consistent with their health, it's going to help a long-term support of people trying to get pregnant.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I just want to mention that on your website, Portland Acupuncture Studio, you have a ton of resources on self-care and things that people can do to take action right now. And those are, sometimes we think of them as just like simple things, but they are so important, especially for women who are looking to conceive during this time. So there are ways that you can prepare yourself. Lisa's written several articles that are excellent, that talk about how you can take care of yourself, not only in terms of nutrition, but just generally, you know, relieving your sense of self-care and your mental state. So, you know, I just want to point that out. So either going to the blog on the website or Facebook is also a good avenue where we've shared those, and also on LinkedIn. So,
For sure.
And then as we wrap up today, Lisa, is there anything else that you want to share about National Infertility Awareness Week with everyone?
Well, I would just say that it's very likely that if you're not struggling with infertility yourself, it's very likely that you know somebody who is. Now, it's not to say that you know that they're doing that. They might not be sharing it with you. But I think the point of any awareness week is just to realize that there are people out there who struggle with something that you may not even know they're struggling with. And so to just be aware that this is and again, if you don't want your kids yourself, or you think it's trivial during this bigger crisis, that's not true for the people who are undergoing this time. And so just be sensitive that this is one of the many, many levels of experience for people right now. And just maybe know that, bring compassion. I think one of the things I think about a lot is that we need to bring compassion to every interaction right now, because everybody's going through many, many levels of concerns. We don't know what those are.
Right.
And this is one of them. So just be kind. Be kind out there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lisa. So I love your support and bringing awareness to National Infertility Awareness Week when it's a difficult time for everyone. People are dealing with COVID-19 and with the trauma that has come through this pandemic, and it's the global situation. So we know that everybody is affected in some way, but there is still time to really take a step back, have some compassion for something that we want to bring awareness to. And if you have questions, please do reach out to Lisa. Her website is PDX Acu Studio, Portland Acupuncture Studio in Portland, Oregon, and also on her Facebook, Portland Acupuncture Studio. So thank you so much, Lisa. Really appreciate you. Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you, Molly. Thanks, everybody. Take